Okay, very good morning, everyone. Welcome back to today's lecture on international business economics. We have started and we are beginning with the fifth chapter. And we have yesterday, in the earlier chapters, we have seen with the concept of international banking, the reserves, the debt, and the risk that has been associated with the perspectives of international banking that is into existence. In my last lecture, I have explained you and we have studied about the outsourcing as a certain perspective and how outsourcing is important and it has been undertaken or benefiting with each and every country or nations as a on a larger scale. Now, furthermore, we have also seen and understood about the role of the IMF as a certain perspective at the global level. Now, today, let's look, or these are the various points wherein you can see what is the role or benefit of the contribution between the joint association between India and the IMF. So, India joined the IMF on December 27, that is 1945, and India is acting as one of the IMF, that is International Monetary Fund's founder member. So IMF, since its origin, that is from 1945 onwards, India is the original member and the founder member of the IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, that was into existence. India's current quota in IMF is SDR, that is special drawing right with respect to India, is $5,821.5 million. So in this way, this is the valuation that we have contributed for the reserves in IMF as a certain perspective, which is making it the 13th largest quota holding country at IMF and giving its shareholding pattern of 2.44%. So the shareholding pattern of IMF with respect to Indian economy is 2.44, and India is standing at the 13th largest quota holding country. India, together with its constituency countries like Bangladesh, Bhutan, and Sri Lanka, have ranked at the 17th and in the list of 24th constituency at the state executive board. So you can see the different ranking that have been available with respect to the Indian perspectives of IMF as a certain concern. So in this way, India is constantly contributing and providing the financial assistance and giving its membership or funds to the IMF as a certain perspective. India subscribes to the IMF Special Data Dissemination Standard, and along with countries belonging to this group make a commitment to observe the standard and to provide the information about their data and dissemination practices. So India is also the member of the data dissemination practices, and accordingly, it is also contributing in those perspectives or norms also. The bright spot you can see at this stage with respect to IMF as a certain concern, it is, for example, the world it is this particular data reflects to the year of 2015, 16, and 17 respectively, and the contribution or the composition of world economy, the US economy, European economy, Japan, Brazil, and China has been represented at this position. The policy representation for India, it specifically focuses on the upside risk to the inflation, which is tightening of the monetary policy if it is been needed. So in comparison to the world GDP and the Indian GDP, you can see there is a quite stability position. And whenever the world was global forecast was at 3.1, the Indian economy for the growth rate of financial year 16 was at 7.3. For the that wherein the consumer inflation index was at 4.9 and the current account balance was minus 1.3, that is negative, which is a percentage of GDP perspective. Now here in this further slide, you can see the various points with respect to the monetary policy, fiscal policy, the reductions in the subsidies, labor market reforms, and disseminating of infra bottlenecks. So in this way, different contributions of IMF policy for India was been given by IMF, and accordingly, the decisions of the Indian economy was taken in coordination and consultation with IMF as a certain perspectives. So from regularly time to time, the IMF is providing the financial assistance, financial guidance, and monitoring or the fiscal policy guidance to the Indian economy, and we have been following those norms as and when it has been required. Benefits to India from the International Monetary Fund's membership. So what are the various benefits that India has received as a certain country or a nation from the contribution of or in association with the membership of IMF? The first concern or the perspective is the financial assistance. So while India has not been a frequent user of IMF resources, IMF credit has given an instrumental in helping India respond to emerging balances of payment crisis. So whenever there was a certain balance of payment crisis in the Indian origin, IMF has given a certain financial assistance on or a certain benefit has been provided by IMF at a larger scale. Now, majorly specifically focusing in the year 1981 and 82, India borrowed SDR, that is special drawing rights of 3.9 billion under an extended fund facility, which was the largest arrangement in IMF and the history of that particular time. So this was the particular benefit you can see that India has been gained, and it has the IMF has provided SDR, that is special drawing right of $3.9 billion. So this particular fund, extended fund facility, was being provided by IMF, and it was treated at that particular duration as the largest fund arrangement that was done by IMF in those times. Again, in the year 1991 or 1991-93, India borrowed a total SDR of 2.2 billion. So again, additional fund was being raised in the year 1991 to 1993, which was stood by the arrangement, and in 1991 and specifically in the year 1991, it has borrowed $1.4 billion under the compensatory financing policy. So whenever India has passed the financial policy or the new economic policy of the year 1991, wherein the policy of LPG, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization, was passed by the Indian government. So here at this particular stage also, IMF has given a certain contribution with the extent of $1.4 billion. And an additional SDR was also given up to year 1993, which was standing or evaluating up to rupees SDR, that is $2.2 billion at a certain position. In terms of the technical assistance, in the recent years, the fund has provided India with the technical assistance in number of areas, which includes the development of government securities, markets, foreign exchange, market reform, public expenditure, tax reforms, customs, administration, and so on. So in this way, with respect to the various administrative or the technical assistance also, IMF has at several point of time at a very frequent stage provided the financial benefit, and accordingly, the technical assistance was given by IMF to the Indian economy as a larger scale. Since in 1981, the IMF Institute has also provided training to the Indian officials in the various technical assistance in terms of the Indian officials was also been provided in terms of the accounts, tax, administration, balance of payments, compilation, monetary policy, and various other several areas. So in different of the several areas also, IMF is giving or providing the financial assistance, and from the tax perspective also, the benefit to the Indian economy or the Indian government has been availed by the IMF. Now, considering the scenario of international regulation by IMF in the fields of money has certainly contributed towards the expansion of the international trade and thus prosperity. So India has positively always benefited from the policies that have been framed by the IMF, and it has also got the benefit in terms of the administration, in terms of the financial assistance, in terms of the tax perspectives, and so on. Aid from the World Bank and the other financial agencies. So simultaneously, as the benefit has been received by the IMF perspective, India has got the benefit from the various international financial agencies also. So those financial agencies, that is IBRD, which is standing for World Bank, from them also we have received the various financial assistance, wherein the amount has been utilized for the river projects, land reclamation schemes, and development of communication technology, and so on. So all the various financial assistance, whenever it has been required, the various financial assistance has been gained by the various institution that was into existence, and we have always seen that how the benefit of the Indian economy, the smaller people or the larger people at the larger scale, how it can be benefited at a global stage. Now, the case of 1991 and the Indian economic crisis. So by 1995, India has started having a balance of payment problem, and by the end of 1990, it was in a serious economic crisis. So at this particular stage, it was a certain situation that the balance of payment crisis was of India was so severe that it has gone into a negative perspective. So when this particular scenario was gone into negative perspective, there was no fund available within the Indian government in terms of the foreign reserve that a country has to hold on. So by the year 1990, all the reserves was at a negative stage, and India was not having any additional benefit or a certain reserve with respect to the foreign currency that was into existence. So in this way, the various reserves went into negative perspectives, and India was not having any reserves position at this stage. So here, furthermore, what happened at this time? In this situation, India has approached the IMF as a certain perspective, and India has again taken a loan from the IMF to cover all those particular balance of payment crisis. So the IMF has provided the foreign reserves or the foreign currency to the Indian economy, and the economic crisis was adjusted from 1990 or 1991 onwards. The government of India here immediately responded was to secure an emergency loan of $2.2 billion from the International Monetary Fund by pledging 67 tons of Indian gold reserve. So whatever the gold reserves that India was having, we have already pledged those particular gold, and the particular gold of the Indian government was provided as a certain security for the IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, and in return we have taken a loan facility of $2.2 billion. So this particular amount of foreign exchange or foreign reserve was availed or taken by the Indian government, and accordingly, the financial arrangements was been taken or done by the Indian economy. The Reserve Bank of India had to airlift 47 tons of gold to the Bank of England and 20 tons of gold to the Union Bank of Switzerland to raise $600 million. So in this way, what was the amount that was been raised by the Reserve Bank of India? So Reserve Bank of India has provided or uplifted 47 tons of gold from Bank of England and 20 tons of gold from the Union Bank of Switzerland. So this particular amount of gold reserve was given by the Indian government to the IMF, and in return, we have received a foreign currency of $2.2 billion. And from this particular concern, the amount was being raised as a part of foreign reserves. What was the result of it? The result was a program of new economic policy reform in the year 1991 has been passed. And since it has provided a maximum benefit to the Indian government and to the Indian economy, now we are at a certain stage or a certain position that we was able to successfully implement the new economic policy or the LPG policy of 1991, which stands for the liberalization, privatization, and globalization at the major perspectives. Now, let's look how they come with the euro currency or the euro market. So here in this particular case, in the next chapter, we are dealing with and we'll be understanding about the introduction, the members, the problems, the sources, the design, the goals, and the history of the introduction to the euro currency market. So what is a euro currency market? The euro is the new currency that many countries that apart from the European Union now use. So the symbol for the euro is in this particular position, and the abbreviation is EUR, which stands for euro, that is Europe. And again, the currency for denomination is the symbol you can see in this particular slide as this particular position. Europe moves toward the one country, one currency. So starting on January 1, 2002, the most of the European exchanges exchange their change and paper their money currency for a different kinds of coins and banknotes, and they took their French franc, German mark, Deutsche Guilders, and other national currencies to the bank and traded them in euros. So the various currency that was trading in the European economy, which stood for the French franc, German mark, Deutsche Guilders, and other national currencies of the European Union, everything was been abolished, and from a certain position for this, that is from January 1, 2002, only one single currency that was been traded from the in the European Union, and that particular currency that was accepted is only the euro currency. The European Union to help. Now, what was the benefit? The major benefit or the focus at this particular stage was to provide a certain ease or a certain norms for the exchange rate volatility among the different European nations, which was hindered by the investment in various states of the Europe and the United States. So in this way, the European monetary system in the year 1917, which was established, they came forward and they decided to form one single currency, and for the entire European Union as a certain nation, one single currency that will be traded, and it will be only a euro currency. So for this particular concern, the Maastricht Treaty was being signed, and all the member nations of the European Union came together and they signed this particular agreement on this particular day. So over the time, it became clear that the closer economic convergence was needed and among the European nations to build a stronger Europe. So in the year 1991, the members of the EU approved by the Maastricht Treaty, which called for a single currency throughout the Europe for the 21st century. So in this way, this particular treaty was being signed and it was been adopted, or the agreement was being passed wherein all the European nations will use only one single currency, and that particular single currency will be only euro as a certain currency, and there will be no other currency that will be into circulation or demand or the trading purpose. So here in this case, you can see the particular currency that was been coined and designed was of both the factors or both the consideration. That is, they have designed the paper currency also, and they have designed the coins also. So both the currency was been designed, and accordingly the fair rate was been decided, and the legal tender of these particular currencies started to trade. Now, this particular transaction was been applicable or a constraint for all the countries, that is Austria, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain. So the countries who were having the old trading currencies, all the old trading currencies was being phased out and a new phase was being applicable, and everyone started to accept the euro currency as their national currency and as their traded currency for a certain period of time. So in this way, both the situation or both the scenario came into picture wherein the paper currency was also been printed and the coins was also been designed of the euro currency. So in this way, you can see the members of the euro system, wherein the euro bandwagon who's on who on this particular stage, it has been provided for you, wherein the European members adopting the euro currency and the European members who are not adopting the euro currency is given in this particular diagram. So here all the countries which are marked in a yellow color are the countries who have accepted the European currency, that is the euro currency, and the countries with the orange color has not accepted a particular euro as their respective currency. So in this way, Ireland, Luxembourg, France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Austria, Germany, Finland, and Greece has accepted the euro currency, and the Great Britain, Denmark, and Sweden has not accepted the European currency or the euro currency. So in this way, there was a certain crisis wherein several countries have accepted the euro currency and several countries have not accepted the euro currency. So what was the furthermore or the impacts we can see in this particular slide. So the members of the euro system. So these are the various members of the euro system who have accepted for the European currency at this particular stage. Now this particular currency stands for the Australia, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain. So the old national currency was phased out, and after a few months, the new currency was been accepted by these particular nations. So the Danes rejected the euro currency by 43% to 47%, and in a referendum that was been passed in the year 2000, so Denmark, Britain, and Sweden again they came forward, and again a new currency was been established. And here, after a further point of time, the Denmark, Britain, and Sweden joined the European Union, and the new currency was been accepted by the European Union nations. So many of the EU 10 new members were joined. So what are the various 10 new members that joined in the year 2004? The 10 members that joined in the European Union in 2004 were Poland, the Czech Republic, the Hungary, Slovenia, Slovakia, Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, Malta, and Cyprus. So are expected to join the euro currency. So all these 10 member countries or the 10 nations joined the European Union market are in the year 2004, and hence after more, what you can see, all the member countries of the European system or the European economic system or the European Union zone have joined, and they have accepted the euro currency as their global currency. So what are the goals of the euro? So why this particular situation came into picture, that they have to establish a single currency for an entire country or an entire continent as a certain perspective. So the first major objective or the goal was to create a more stable European economy that would invite competition and opportunity for the businesses and markets. So there should be only one single currency or only one single currency or commodity which can establish, and accordingly, so for this particular concern, for entire European economy as a certain concern, one single currency should be traded, one single currency should be demanded, and it should be into circulation. For this particular purpose, this particular treaty of Massachusetts was been passed, and accordingly all the member countries was said to accept only and to trade in only one single currency as a certain perspective. Improve the economic growth across the Europe. So in order to improve the economic growth, that is, if only one single currency has been traded across the European Union or across the European nation, what happen? The proper transaction can be conducted in a very fluent way, in a very effective way, and it will be helpful or beneficial for the growth and transactions of all the member countries at a very larger scale. So if only one single currency keeps on trading at a certain stage, then there is no feasibility, there is no confusion in the particular market perspective, and the trading currency becomes more stronger and more healthier. To provide or offer more integration among the financial markets. So in order to provide the financial integration in the financial markets, this particular referendum was been passed, and all the member countries was been given a certain position or a certain orientation in order to adopt one European currency or one euro currency as a certain perspective. So what happened at this particular stage? The financial market gets linked with each other. The financial markets are having a certain burden or a certain assistance with respect to the trading of all currencies into one single market or one single currency at this particular stage. So if only one single currency keeps on trading or circulating or floating at this particular stage, then there is no confusion in the financial markets, and your transaction gets settled very easily. You don't have to consider a certain situation wherein your currency prices, your valuation of currency keeps on changing at every point of time, and you don't have to be dependent on different currencies or different trading perspectives. So for this particular concern, in order to bring the proper integration, proper control on the financial markets also, the euro currency was also accepted at the global stage. Next perspective or the next benefit is to create a stronger European presence in the global economy and develop a more politically unified Europe. So in order to show our unity, in order to show to the world economy that we have a proper unity at this particular stage and we can control all the factors at a larger scale, the European Union has come forward and they have signed a certain pact or an agreement wherein all the European Union has treated and they have accepted one currency as a single or a traded currency. Now, Any difficulty at this stage? Would you like to ask any questions? You can please unmute yourself and ask. Okay, no difficulty. Now, moving with the next perspective or the next chapter, that is problems with the euro currency. So what were the major various problems with which you can see that what are the crisis of the euro currency, how it dealt with. So the major problems with the euro currency, that is, while the euro has brought stability to the European economies, the system does have any limitations. So what are those limitations? Now let's look all these particular limitations one by one in a certain situation or in a certain step-by-step method. All the nations that operate under the euro system must by default have the same interest rate. So it was at a certain stage or a certain position that it was been adopted that all the countries who are trading in the euro currency or who are the members of the European Union, they have to trade only into one single currency, and the interest rate that will be provided or accepted by the government will be of only one single origin or one single rate, and all the rate of the interest will be same at all the member countries. So if the European Union comprises of 23 or 25 nations, the interest rate for by which will be decided by the respective government or the central government of all the member countries or the member nations will be same at this particular point of time. But in the natural situation or in the practical situation, it is not feasible, because what happens if Spain is having their different government, if France is having their different government, Germany is having their different government, and the same government or the different government cannot have the same rate of interest which can be ruled at a certain position or at a certain stage. So in this way, controlling or regulating the same interest rate at a particular larger scale or in a particular zone scale was not possible, and hence it has caused a problem with the euro currency as a certain perspective. Now, this has created a strains on the some economies, such as Germany. And if its economy slows down, the government cannot lower the interest rates to stimulate growth. So, this particular situation of controlling the interest rate was acceptable to one country, but it was not acceptable to some another country. Due to this concern, what happened? There were several economies, that is, for example, Germany, wherein they have went into certain losses, and the currency started to depreciate or devalue at a very faster rate. So, due to this situation, what happened? The referendum or the particular agreement or the MOU that was being passed with the different nations, it was not acceptable at this particular stage, and accordingly, a benefit for one country was been provided, but the benefit for the other or the several countries was not provided at the several stage or simultaneously. Now, despite using a common currency, all European nations have not performed equally economically. So, whenever at this particular stage, we can see that several countries were performing in a very good situation, whereas several countries was not getting benefited and they were not performing in a good situation. So, many European nations have not performed well, and accordingly, with the change in the policies, the financial market situation, the technical situation, the economic situation, the GDP situation of all the member countries of the European Union started to change at a very faster rate. While some nations experienced growth in the exports, others were in a decline stage. So, with this situation, what was the case at this particular point of time? The benefit was being provided in terms of the imports and exports. So, several countries got a positive benefit from exports, whereas several countries did not get the benefit from their export that was having at this stage. So, in this way, there was a positive scenario at some countries, and there was a negative scenario at some countries. So, there was not a balanced growth of situation. In terms of the competitiveness, we can also see that in terms of the competitiveness, several countries was having a positive benefit, whereas several countries was not having the positive benefit out of it. So, in terms of the competitive market, there was no proper competitive market at this particular situation, and the benefit was not provided to all the member countries at the feasible state or at the proper balanced state. So, in this way, the competitive market situation was also not been provided by the by the European economy to all the member nation countries. The hope of the good towards the political unity is still far beyond from the horizon. So now again, it was the major perspective, or it was an identification that it will be providing a positive unity among the political concerns also. But when there are several countries into existence, the political unity cannot be identified, and every government is having every government which is ruling at this particular stage is having a different perspective, different norms, and the political unity is of a very far situation wherein it cannot be achieved at the very larger scale. Now, let's look at this particular chart, which shows you about the problems with the countries using the euro currency. So, whenever this particular policy of a euro currency was adopted in the year 2000 to 2004, what was the problems with respect to the debt to the GDP? So in terms of the Spain, you can see the Spain is having the debt to GDP percentage of around 62 to 63%. Ireland was having a problem with respect to 78 to 79%. Portugal was having the problem situation with respect to 80 to 82%. Greece was having the problem with respect to the around 105 to 110%. Italy was having the problem with respect to 118 to 120%, and so on. So there were several member nations or the member countries of the European Union wherein the debt to GDP crisis was increasing at a very larger scale. And due to this concern, the European economy was started to gain a certain referendum, and the people started, or the countries started to suffer the various losses at this situation. Now, this particular slide specifically focuses on the banknote that was been designed by European Union. So here in this particular slide, you can see the different currency note was also been published by the European Union. And these particular notes are specifically with respect to 5 euro, 10 euro, 20 euro, 50 euro, 100 euros, 200 euros, and 500 euros. So different currency notes was also been printed, wherein the front look and the back look of this particular design was being also provided. So in order to create the proper feasibility, proper mobility, or proper liquidity into market, so that the currency keeps on circulating at a very larger scale, the currency was been printed, the currency was been designed in a very effective way, and accordingly, the different types of currencies was also been established and published by the European Union government. Designs of the coins you can see. Now here you can observe the same for all the countries or all the currency coins that also been designed. So the different designs of the currency coins was also been made, and it was been published by the European Union. So €1 currency design that was been current country, you can see the different country or different nations came forward and they have designed their euro currency, wherein the currency of Austria, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain is given at this particular stage, and they have on their own designed their own euro currency, and it was been published or it was been accepted by the different governments at a certain stage. So in this way, the currency was been established or the currency was been published in terms of the coins also, in terms of the paper currency also. So here a combination, so note which is of a denomination of 500, 200, 100, 50, 20, 10, and 5 are identical to the European Union. So all these particular paper currency in terms of the European Union currency of the euro currency was identical throughout the European Union, and coins was also same of either €1 or €2, and having a certain denomination coins of either 50, 20, 10, 5, 2, and 1 cent. So 1 cent coin also was also been provided, and accordingly the coins also been published by the European Union zone. Now, the major problem that you can see at this stage is with respect to the Great Britain. So the recent poll found out that 40% of the Britons want the Queen on the euro coin if the UK joins up. So as of now, what happened? The Great Britain has not joined the European Union, and there is a various crisis that with respect to the acceptance of currency. Now, what is the various problem that has been found out at this particular stage? That many of the European Britain people are feeling that if the coin has been published by the European Union, then and if the Britain joins the European Union, the face or the marking of the queen, the name of the queen or the photo of the queen should be embarked on the coin, and accordingly the coin should be printed accordingly. So followed by the 20% preferring for Britannia. So either they are preferring for the Britannia or either they are preferring for the face of the queen on this particular currency. 30% for the House of the Parliament. So again, 30% people are preferring that the House of the Parliament should be impacted on it, and 5% people are saying that the photo of the William Shakespeare should be imparted on the currency coin of the Great Britain. 3% for the Beatles and 1% for the Nelson column and Wembley and David Beckham. So there are different opinions of the different people, but major 45% of the people are saying that they want the Queen on the euro and the coins which will be published by the European Union. So it is a various situation wherein the European Union has to take into consideration, and a certain decision is needed to be made about whether if the Great Britain joins the particular European Union, which currency should be printed and what should be imparted or printed on the euro currency. Whether it should be the face of the Queen, whether it should be Britannia, whether it should be House of Parliament, whether it should be Shakespeare, whether it should be Beatles, whether it should be Nelson Mandela, whether it should be David Beckham, and so on. So in this way, different people are being there into existence. Now, the composition or the comprisation of the euro dollar market. So The euro dollar market is a combination or a certain consideration wherein both the currencies have been traded or exchanged, wherein the euro currency is also into existence and the dollar currency is into existence. Now, at this stage, you must have come to understanding that euro and dollar are both convertible currency. That is, both the currency, that is either the euro currency or the dollar currency, which is USD, both can be converted into any form or any type of currency, and it can be traded or exchanged across the globe as per the need and requirement of a particular customer. Financial intermediary both brings the lenders and borrowers together. So whenever a particular currency has been fully convertible in terms of the euro currency or the dollar currency, it brings both the lenders and the borrowers together, and it gets fully convertibility at this particular stage. The denomination, with respect to denomination, we can see that the US dollar and the United States and the euro currency are both denominated in a specific perspective, and both the currencies are also fully traded and fully exchanged at this particular stage. So if you want to convert any currency in terms of dollar, the option is available with you, and if you want to convert any currency in terms of euro currency, the option is available with you, and both the currencies are fully convertible. So transaction in dollars, but major perspective at these particular stages, world's 3/4 of the transaction volume of transaction are contracted in dollar currency, whereas rest of the transactions are contracted in terms of the euro currency or other currencies that are into existence. Euro dollar deposits. So at this particular stage, an option is given for the investors or the particular borrowers or lenders that the particular reserves or the particular currency can either be used in terms of the dollar currency or in terms of the euro currency. So the reserves or the deposits can be made in terms of either the currency, wherein the business enterprises, the investment, the banks or the foreign lending agencies can deposit their certain sum of money either in terms of euro currency or either in terms of dollar currency. So in this way, at the international level, we have to see that both the currencies are quite acceptable and they are treating at a very national level, and the currencies have been traded as a part of a medium of exchange. The euro currency market, now how the European euro or the euro currency currency market started to grow at a very larger scale. So before World War II, the pound was served as the international currency. Now the dollar was into existence from World War I, but the pound currency was into greater acceptance, was greater into circulation after or the before the World War II. That was into existence. But after a certain situation or after a certain point of time, what happened? Every European Union country member nation started to develop day by day, and it was at a certain situation the need was felt that we want to provide a supplement or a standard currency which will provide a dollar currency as a certain position, and for this particular concern the euro currency came into existence. So a euro dollar is a dollar denominated deposit in a bank outside the US. So in this way, any currency which is having a denomination outside the US economy and which is dollar denominated in terms of a dollar currency, it's called a euro dollar currency. So a proper combination of euro dollar currency wherein a dollar currency in combination with the European currency, which is traded outside the US market, is called as an US dollar denominated currency. The British banks are trying to avoid the rules on the use of the pound currency, wherein the later market, the European Union market has come forward, and accordingly, the euro dollar market has came into picture or came into existence, which was called as an LIBOR. Again, much of the international banking transactions have been conducted in the European market, and all the transactions that have been traded in the European zone are only in terms of euro currency and not in terms of the dollar currency. Very few stage at this particular stage, you can see that very few transactions have been conducted in dollar transactions, and most of the transactions are conducted in the terms of euro currency. Major concern, euro currency is a time deposit, and it is at the international bank level, it is conducted or transacted at the different countries or different nations. Another convertibility that you can see at this stage, first thing is the euro dollar currency, wherein a combination of the euro and dollar currency is into existence, wherein the combination or the transaction have been conducted outside the United States, and another combination is of the euro yen. So euro yen are the yen denominated time deposit countries which are located outside the Japan. So first option or the first combination is the euro dollar currency, wherein the combination of Europe and the United States is into existence, and another combination is the euro yen, wherein the combination of euro currency and the yen currency of Japan is into existence, and the currency have been traded and they are fully convertible at this particular stage. The foreign bank doesn't have their locations which is outside the Europe. So outside the Europe, this particular currency is not into existence, and the currency can be traded either in terms of euro dollar or it can be traded in terms of euro yen, whichever is feasible at this particular stage. Now, with respect to the cost structure, the reserve requirement is quite low. The deposit insurance is also quite low, and for the rapid growth stage, it is quite high, and especially in terms of the euro dollar market. So most of the trading you can see is in terms of euro dollar market, and very few trading is done in terms of euro yen market that is into existence. External banking system. Now, with respect to the external banking system, you can see a parallel banking system is also been done, or the parallel banking system in terms of euro currency is into existence in the European market, and accordingly, the domestic bank are also conducting the transactions of the European Union as a certain perspective. Most euro currency transactions are interbank transactions, and the amount of this particular concern is more than 1 lakh US dollars. So more than the 1 lakh US dollar, you can see the transaction is been increasing, and it is also continuously increasing day by day. So in this way, the transaction have been conducted, and it has been opted by the different banks that are into existence. Now, the common reference rate. So what are the various reference rate? That is, first thing is the LIBOR, that is London Interbank Offered Rate, PBOR, that is Paris Interbank Offered Rate, CBOR, that is Singapore Interbank Offered Rate, and Eurobor, that is European Union Interbank Offered Rate. So in this way, LIBOR, PBOR, CBOR, and Eurobor is available for you, and accordingly, the currency is being conducted and traded with different countries or different nations as and when the transaction or the customer demands or needs the certain perspective. Euro credit. Euro credit is a particular concern wherein the short-term, medium, or short-term or the medium-term loans are being provided for the different traders, and it is provided for the corporations, governments, non-prime banks, or the international organizations. So short-term or the medium-term loans are given on the basis of Euro credit, and accordingly, the loan is being provided for different organizations, different nations for the banking perspective or for the trading perspectives. Loans are often too large for one bank or the underwriter and a syndicate of banks. So this particular loan is either given for a single bank, or it can be given for a syndicate of a banks also. So different types of a single bank can also be given a loan, or the combination or the syndicate of different banks can also be given a certain loan perspective in terms of euro currency. Adjustable rate. The rate is adjustable with different banks that are into existence, and the rollover is for a duration of either 3 months or months, depending on the credit terms and conditions by the different countries or different banks that are plus X%. So here at this stage, you have to identify and you have to decide. So at this stage, you have to decide about the different rates that are into existence, and the rate that has been decided is with respect to the LIBOR, that is London Bank official optimized rate, and accordingly, based on this particular rate, you have to identify, and a certain percentage or a certain margin is been also set in it has also been decided as per the LIBOR at a certain additional profit margin or a profit percentage that is into existence. Euro notes. Short-term notes are also being issued by the European Union market, and accordingly, the notes are also been published and governed by the commercial bank that have been into existence of the European market. So various international investment bank that are into existence, they provide the banking facility to the commercial banks, and accordingly, the euro notes are also been given, or also they have been provided. Note currency, simultaneously printing of the currency of the euro notes is also done by the central bank as well as at the European Union level at a larger scale. What they are doing, they are selling these particular notes at the discounted rate or the premium rate also, and at the face value of this particular currency also. So the euro notes are also traded at the discount, or at the face value, or at the premium value. The interest rates that have been usually trading or that have been governed by for the euro notes are LIBOR plus 1/8 of a particular percentage rate. So LIBOR plus 0.8% is being charged, and accordingly, the interest rate for the loan that has been taken on either the euro notes or the euro currency, it has been decided, and the currency is being traded. Bank receives a small fee for underwriting. So what is the benefit for bank out of this? So if a particular euro note is been traded, so bank is getting a certain benefit in terms of the underwriting, and the commission is being charged by the commercial bank that are into existence of the European Union market. So in this way, the benefit is being provided. The duration is for either 3 to 6 months. The product is being sold either at par, premium, or discount. The benefit is given for the Eurobank in terms of the interest rate, which is LIBOR plus 0.8%, and it is providing a certain benefit to the banks also, which is providing an underwriting commission to the banks also. Next perspective, that is Euro commercial paper. So the commercial paper is a particular document which gives you a certain undertaking or a certain consideration of paying a certain sum of money at a certain future date. So as we have different promissory notes that are into existence, same promissory notes of the Euro commercial papers are also into existence, and their validity or duration is from 1 month to 6 months. So maximum 6 months of promissory notes are also being issued in Euro currency market, which have been now how they have been placed. They are placed directly by the public through a clear dealer. So proper dealers, authorized dealers have been appointed, and with the help of the dealers, you can place this particular currency, and accordingly, the currency can be traded in the European Union market. The Euro commercial paper is typically a combination of either the US dollar denomination or a specifically denomination of US currency or the European currency that is into existence. So the European Euro commercial paper can either be denominated in terms of euro currency, or either it can be denominated in terms of dollar currency. So in this way, the results or the yields have been decided, and accordingly, the valuation of currency has been set, and the currency has been traded either in the local market of European Union or in the global market of the outside the European Union, either in the US market or the European Union market or the global market. Commercial paper market size. So as on 2006, the commercial paper market size of this particular currency that have been traded is standing at $635 billion, and accordingly, the value of currency has been traded across the globe. So in this way, we can see there are different types of euro currency that are into existence, and they have been traded at the very larger scale. So in this way, the European Union currency has been established, and accordingly, in the future years, we can see that there is a certain supplement, or there is a certain consideration wherein, apart from the dollar currency, euro currency will be a major traded currency across the globe. But as on today, first currency that is being traded across the globe is firstly the dollar currency. The second maximum traded currency is the European Union currency, and third currency that is traded is the Japanese yen currency. But after a several point of time, when either the Great Britain or the several countries, that is Poland and Finland, they join the European Union consideration, it is assumed, and it has been taken for granted that, and the major trading currency that will be traded across the globe will be only in terms of euro currency. So after a certain point of time, you may see that the major currency that will be traded is not the dollar currency, and maximum consideration that will be seen at the national level or at the global level will be only in terms of the euro currency. So after a certain point of time, that is 20 years, or after the 20 to 30 years, we can see and we can understand that there will be a supplement, or there will be a parallel economy that will be into existence. And apart from the dollar currency, major country that will be trading or that will be using the currency that will be using is in terms of euro currency. So in this way, we come with the end of the today's lecture. Thank you so much everyone for joining. Have a great day ahead. Thank you. If you have any questions at this particular stage, you can please unmute yourself and ask me the questions, or you can please drop your questions in the chat box. I'll be there to answer your questions accordingly. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.